Friends and family, one of the things that Empire always tries to teach us, and Empire in America is no different, is that our survival depends on the stability of leaders in systems and institutions. We are taught to trust stability, to trust stasis, to trust the fact that things, to trust the non-changing of things, even when what is not good for us. We are taught that stability keeps us safe and that change is dangerous, friends and family. But Isaiah reminds us what Octavia Butler tried to teach us in her work is that change is always, it is steady, it is constant, friends and family. And so that we ought not fall into the false notion that stability is what keeps us safe. But liberation, friends and family, always requires change. And so we ought to ignore the teaching of the empire to replace the God-giving longing for liberation with a yearning for security through compliance. That we ought to fan the flames, stoke the fires. We ought to churn up within us the spirit of liberation that looks for and readies ourselves for and embraces change. And sometimes, friends and family, that means that we have to be able to sit with and deal with and confront the grief that comes with change. Because change is not always joyous. And even when change brings ultimate joy, there is a grief that happens. Don't you hear the voices of the children of Israel as they are leaving their bondage and slavery in Egypt after they have celebrated because Pharaoh's army is drowned in the Red Sea, and then they get out in the wilderness and they realize that their liberation has cost them something. And they begin to grumble because they don't have enough food, grumble because they are feeling insecure, and they begin to complain to Moses, "Why didn't you leave us where we were? At least there we were stable. At least there we had food." There was a grief that came with the change, the instability that comes with change. And friends and family, one of the things that Empire tries to get us to do is to move past grief, to rush past grief, to distract ourselves away from grief. But friends and family, if we believe that God is always speaking, then one must argue that God is speaking even in the moments of grief. And when we rush past it, when we try to move past it, when we try to distract ourselves away from it, then we can't hear what God is saying to us in the grief. And so I want to lift up, I want to ask the question, what might God be trying to show us or say to us that we cannot hear if we refuse to sit with our grief?